Welcome back to the beautiful Valais region of Switzerland. As you can tell by that shot, it's still raining. The Rallye de Valais 2012 has been up and down for a lot of people. We started out with beautiful sunshine for the first couple of days. It started raining and snowing at the higher stages earlier on. And as you can see, everyone's not packing up to go home. We've had a fair amount of bad weather, to say the least. This was the beautiful time-lapse shot from earlier on today. Sorry, earlier on yesterday, my apologies. We moved from Sion, just down the road, to Martigny, where we're based now. And it's been raining, it's been blowing a gale as well. A number of teams have lost their awnings. All you could hear for a little while was a clatter of things as they flew through the air, hit the ground. Various teams and mechanics trying to hang on to everything they possibly could. So we're going to review the last couple of days to bring you bang up to date with everything as it happens now live in the mountains. First stage, Crans-Montana, back on Thursday in the sunshine, as you can see. Beautiful weather for watching some rallying in a T-shirt. The world debut of the new regional rally car. Peter Schoen taking some time out from being Belgian rally champion to come and mix it up with the local boys here in the mountains. And he started out really well. He was quickest on the first stage. And if you watch the shows before, you've seen this next shot before, but you're going to see it again. Again, I'm just going to be quiet. This is just the in-car tells a story on its own. Which I presume is Belgium, for that was not good. The other thing as well, that was on the last corner of that particular stage, but they got the car upright again. A very dented roof and a broken windscreen. Not too much damage at all on the car. Everything else was absolutely fine. Peter Schoen continued on, but he lost about 4.5 minutes as a result of that. The team in the service area that evening fixed the car, hammered it out nice and straight, put a new windscreen in, and he continued on. So out on the road at the end of the first 3 stages, Antonin Tlustak was 5th overall with the Skoda Super 2000. It was a Skoda, or is a Skoda, I should say, that's won the 2012 European Rally Championship, but it wasn't in the hands of Antonin Tlustak. That was Juha Hänninen. Wrapped it up earlier in the year. He's not here this weekend. So it's up to Antonin to defend the honour of those little cars. Next up, Nicholas Outhouse was 4th after day 1. Nicholas is your newly crowned 2012 Swiss Rally Champion. And it was a puncture that did him in 1 year ago. Ended up finishing in 5th spot on this rally 1 year ago. Number 1, though, on the side of the car, Laurent Riche, Swiss Rally Champion last year and defending event champion as well. Last year was his first year in a Super 2000, and it really made it pay off big time. Big surprise of the first day was this man, Sebastian Caron, his first ever try in a 4-wheel drive Super 2000 rally car. And he was 2nd out on the road after the first 3. The first 3 stages are relatively short, so they only cover about 30 kilometres on the first day. Just kind of gets everybody underway, bedded in, before the serious stuff starts on Friday and then Saturday. But your leader, he's finished in the top 5 a few times. This is Florian Gonod. Again, this is Thursday's action, folks. This isn't today. This is just to give you the story of what's happened up to now and where we've got to. So Florian was leader on Thursday evening. And as you can see by the graphic, he was only 5 seconds in front of Sebastian Caron. Laurent Riche in 3rd, 16 seconds down. Nicholas Outhouse 4th, Antonin Tlustak 5th. And we saw Peter Schoen, who unfortunately was down in about 70-something place after the first day. So a big mountain decline, no pun intended, for him if he wants to get anywhere back up near to the leaders. Well, Friday was a T-shirt weather day as well for watching rallying in the mountains. Peter Schoen having a much better day, apart from a puncture or two, I think. The car performing really well. Peter himself admitting that not only did he have a brand new rally car to get used to, he also had a brand new rally to him to get used to as well. He'd only ever driven in normal, if you like, rallies before, not ones up and down the sides of mountains. and he did admit to getting caught in the wrong gear a few times, and he had a new car to learn and a new rally. But that man is not 8-time Belgian rally champ for nothing. Antonin Tlustak started off the day dropping down the order a little bit, changed the gearbox, fixed a broken tack and a broken speedometer as well. And at the end of the day, picked up the pace, got back into 5th. He was still, or he was starting to lose, the word I'm looking for, lose touch with the leaders. That's what I was trying to say. Throughout the day, he slipped a little bit further and a little bit further back on the Friday. So #1 on the car, not #1 on the road at the end of the second day. Laurent Riche still in touch though, just over a minute off of the lead. And with everything to play for on Saturday, with the weather changing, the conditions changing, the most difficult stages of the weekend coming up, the plan for a lot of the drivers was just not to do anything stupid on the first couple of days, so they'd still be in touch with a good chance of winning come the last few stages on Saturday. That's Nicholas Outhouse. Again, admittedly, he said he took it a little bit easier, pushed a little bit harder towards the end of the day. Ended up finishing 3rd, but again, only seconds away from the lead. I marvel at every time I see these in-car shots. They're absolutely fantastic. If he makes a slight mistake, something goes wrong with the car, gets a puncture, and he veers off to the right, he's going to end up in someone's roof. As you can see, all the houses are just perched there on the side of the mountain, right over that little ledge he's driving along. But some fantastic driving by Nicholas, and also fantastic driving by this man, Sébastien Caron. Grabs the handbrake and turns the car sideways round one of the, goodness knows how many hairpin bends here in the Alps. And Sébastien Caron finished day 2 second on the road. Like he'd been driving 4-wheel drive rally cars his whole life. He started out with front-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive cars, won a few championships in those, so everybody knew he was probably going to be bad news when he got into a 4-wheel drive Super 2000 car. By bad news, I mean bad news for everyone else, not for him, obviously. Florian Gonon finished top of the pile on day 2 as well. He hadn't got a huge lead at the end of day 1, but it was big enough for him to be leader in the clubhouse after day 1. This was the stage going up towards Nendaz. From down in the valley at Sion, that's when we were in the service park in Sion, in the middle of the Valais region. As you saw earlier on from the time-lapse movie, we moved just down the road to Martigny, where at the moment it's quite frankly down here horrible. It's not very warm, it's raining. But this was the shot from the end of the day with Florian Gonon on top of the pile, 17 seconds adrift, only 17 seconds. Sébastien Caron, Nicholas Outhouse 3rd, Laurent Riche 4th, and Antonin Tlustak in 5th. 4 minutes away, though. Now, this is a live scene right now. And the weather is, like I said, not that great at all. But from this morning, it made things very, very exciting indeed. We had lots of rain and lots of snow as well on the higher stages. So first of all, we went up to Verbier, the heart of the Four Valleys ski area. Over 300 days of sunshine, just not today. Normally one of the biggest ski areas in the Alps, and a world-famous free-riding paradise as well. Known also for shopping at Pré Ski as well. It's going to host later on today the final and decisive stage of the 2012 Rally de Valais. We're on board here with Sébastien Caron. And there we are. We're up in Verbier. Down below, there was no snow. It was rain. It was pretty cold, but obviously the higher you get, the more snowy it gets as the freezing point gets reached and passed by the drivers. This is Laurent Riche. And earlier on today, Laurent ended up second on the road after the Croix de Cour stage. And this is from up in Verbier. Just look at the drops off the side of these roads. Bear in mind, this is a ski resort, and if he tumbles off the side of that perch or ledge, there's nothing to stop him except some big rocks, which will probably hurt quite a lot. This was Nicholas Outhouse, and even with a puncture, after stage 12, he was in the lead, but absolutely only just. He was only 1.7 seconds out in front of his nearest rival, which was Laurent Riche. And again, all the crew, everybody's been talking about this, especially when you watch these in-car shots. It's just absolutely crazy. They're driving up single-lane dirt gravel roads with nothing at all. Look at that on the left-hand side whatsoever, except a huge drop and a good 300 or 400 meters down before you hit the nearest house, more than likely. So your leader was Nicholas Outhouse when they went out for the second loop of stages today. We're back live in the service area. Now you can see that's Peter Schoen's service area right in front of you. Earlier on, he had lots of nice looking awnings there with a little VIP area and everything else as well. That all got blown away, unfortunately. The wind has been gusting. It's been swirling around here in the Alps as well. Yeah, and if you look at that, that's what happened to some of the awnings. They got crushed. They were tying tyres to them, trying to keep them down, but almost everybody. That was Philippe Roux's awning, which went. That was the first one to go with an almighty crash earlier on. And what almost everyone has done is packed up their awnings and just left everything out in the elements. And the mechanics in the service area, I think, have just donned their waterproofs and they're just going to work on the cars in the rain. There's not a lot they can do about it except for try and live it out. So Nicholas Outhouse, after special stage 12, your leader by only 1.7 seconds from Laurent Riche. Sebastian Caron third, Florian Gonon fourth, and Peter Schoen a little bit adrift, but back in the top 5, unbelievably. He went from first down to 70-something and then back up to 5th again in the space of about 24 hours. A real superhuman effort from him and the whole team. And after that stage, they had the monster stage, which was Le Col. And Le Col is 37. It was a 37-kilometre stage up and down from here in the service area and all the way back down the mountain again. This is Florian Gonon. And Florian, we can see here in the rain, that's one of the lowest stages throughout today. And after, I can give you the most up-to-date results, but there's a little delay in getting everybody back into the service park today to catch up with them and see what they think of what's been going on. But Florian Gonon started off the day in number 1. In his interview earlier on with Stevie, he did say that he took it a little bit too easy and did lose a bit of time. Let's see where he finished on Croix de Coeur, which was stage number 12. He was, am I reading that right? He was a couple of minutes off. He lost a couple of minutes after stage 12. So Florian Gonon going from really the penthouse to the outhouse at the moment. But we do have him in the service area, and he's one of the only guys with a tent left.
Florian, comment c'était les 2 derniers spéciales?
Les 2 dernières spéciales, ça s'est bien passé pour nous. On n'a pas pris plus de risques tant, vu que c'est dans les 2 premières de la journée qu'on a tout perdu. C'était humide naturellement, on est resté avec 4 pluies et on a fait des temps encore corrects.
The last 2 stages were okay for Florian. His times were okay. He didn't take many risks. It was very wet in the stage. Et les conditions très humides, donc c'est comment pour rouler?
Les conditions sont humides et où la portion terre, ça commence à sortir gentiment un petit peu la boue. Vu que dans Bruzon, on a fait le 2e passage maintenant, c'était aussi un petit peu creusé. Mais on est content car on a pu éviter la crevaison et c'était le principal objectif de la journée.
The most important thing today is to avoid having punctures, because in the gravel sections there are a lot of rocks, and it's also starting to get a lot of mud. Et maintenant, il y a aussi pas mal de brouillard dans les montagnes. Donc, qu'est-ce que vous faites dans les notes pour avoir des bonnes notes à temps?
Ben, le brouillard, il était aussi ce matin. Hein. Maintenant, là, il y a ce tour-là, il y en avait un petit peu moins. C'est difficile avec les passages de reconnaissance que j'avais. J'ai pas fait de note brouillard. Donc je subis un petit peu, mais maintenant on est troisième à 13 secondes de la deuxième place, mais je pense qu'à la régulière je ne vais pas pouvoir les récupérer, donc on va rouler pour assurer cette troisième place.
They will drive to assure their third place. They didn't take any pace notes for mist, so that's a bit of a problem, but now it's okay. Donc maintenant c'est assuré jusqu'à au finish.
Et oui, c'est tout ce qui reste à faire puisqu'il reste une 22 ou 23 km de spécial.
Et c'est une bonne décision d'annuler la dernière?
Je ne sais pas les conditions qui sont actuellement maintenant. Déjà, je pense qu'il aurait peut-être fallu l'annuler ce matin. Ce matin, elle était très piégeuse avec de la neige. Nous, on a ouvert la route, donc on a dû faire les traces. Il y avait aussi beaucoup de brouillard, donc au niveau sécurité, je ne sais pas comment c'est fait. Maintenant, annuler la petite portion, je ne peux pas dire, je ne suis pas là-haut pour voir.
He doesn't know if it's a good decision or not to cancel the last stage of the day. And earlier he said it will just be driving to the finish and hoping for the third place. Thank you.
Well, on the Saturday of this rally in the Alps, it does tend to be a bit of a survival of the fittest. And Florian Gonon doing his absolute best to try and stay up with the leaders. He's currently 51 seconds adrift of the man in front, and there has been quite a bit of a shake-up in the order as well. There has been talk of cancelling the last stage in Verbier, quite simply because the amount of snow and the treacherous roads up there, it does go up to a peak of over 2,200 metres, and it's very, very hard indeed with the altitude and the snow. Now this man, Peter Schön, talk about a monumental recovery. Most of his service area has gone, been packed up since he's been away. But on the last stage, he was only 16 seconds out of the lead. This is his first time ever on snow and gravel as well, was what he said earlier. He's now up to 4th overall out on the road. He's still 5 minutes adrift, but we've lost a couple of the main leaders, which is what we'll come to in a little while. Horrible conditions, including fog, and Stevie has Peter Schön.
Peter, the last service, you told me you would take a bit of a gamble with snow tires. Did it work out?
No, it was a bad gamble. We hoped, as it is quite cold, that it would be snowing instead of rain, but it stopped raining, and so it was only humidity. And after 15 Ks, the tires become too hot, and then I spun the car 2 times in a hairpin, and I lost quite a lot of time on the long one. So then the motivation is a bit gone, so we just did the last stage quite quietly. It was a lot of fog, so it was very difficult to see anything. And now there's still 1 stage to go. There's nothing really to win or to lose. I think we came back from 78 until 4th position now, so I think that's the best we can do.
And driving in the fog, does it take special pace notes to go fast?
Yeah, but you need the fog to make some of the special space notes. And yeah, in Recce we had 2 passages, and it was very good weather, so we didn't have pace notes, and it's very difficult because sometimes some corners you don't ride. You just like you see 80 or 100, and then that's the corner you want to know. But there's 3-4 corners in front of that, and with the fog you don't see them. So you say, yeah, is this the corner that I need to turn in? And so it's quite difficult if you don't know the stages.
And this being your first time with this car, it's not an easy way to make a debut with this car.
No, and it's a new rally for me. It's a new car, and it's tough conditions. It's very cold and slippery, so it's a lot of things to discover in one time. And sometimes I'm really concentrating on the pace notes, and I'm not concentrating on the car. And sometimes I'm concentrating too much on the car and not enough on the pace notes. So I lose rhythm and I lose some speed. And yeah, we knew in front that it would be a tough rally for us, as we have to discover the car. But I enjoyed myself a lot on the gravel. It's fantastic grip, and we were really enjoying the driving. I didn't know it was fast or not, but anyway, it was really nice to drive like that. And so yeah, still 1 stage to go, and I hope not to make any mistakes and not to have any punctures and bring the car home.
Thank you. Good luck.
Well, Peter Schön still fairly happy with life. And it was a monumental effort to come from 70-something place down to get back up to 4th on the leaderboard. He's over 5.5 minutes adrift, though. overall. If it wasn't for that mistake where the car just kind of flopped over on the second stage earlier on in the weekend on Thursday, there's a good chance he would be challenging for the top spots. This is Antonin Tlustak, and Antonin, he's always up there somewhere, sort of about the mid-top 10. And at the moment, let's have a look where he is on the order. No, he's dropped down quite some margin as well. He's over 11 minutes away from the lead. And unfortunately for him, that's going to put pay to his chance of repeating his podium position from last year. He finished third in the rally last year. This time round, no such luck. He also said earlier on today it was just about the toughest stage he had ever driven in his rallying career. Starting with cold, rain, then going to all sorts of loose stuff, and then onto snow as well. Just about as difficult as it must get. I can see him getting ready to be spoken to by Stevie down here in the service area. But before we get to that, just look at these scenes from earlier. This is why he was saying it was so difficult. You start off in the rain, and then you come across this. On the right, folks, that is a snowmaking machine they use on pistes in the Alps. That's how high up they are. But obviously the snowmaking machine wasn't needed today. God did his own job. And again, look at the drop on the left-hand side. Any little mistake whatsoever, and you end up with a very bent rally car and hopefully not in hospital. But a superb job of driving by everybody on the rally just to get round this without any incident whatsoever. And by the sound of it, it looks like the last stage up in Verbier at the end of the day has sadly been cancelled just for that reason, because it's too unsafe. The amount of snow that they've had has made it very treacherous indeed. You can see a huge crowd still turned out, even though the weather was, well, I was going to say, it's not appalling weather, is it? It's what you expect in the Alps. Bit of mist, bit of snow, bit of rain. Antonin Tlustak doing an absolutely great job out on the road. So Stevie has him in the service area. We'll go over to them right now.
Antonin, how were the stages this afternoon?
Jaké byly zkoušky teďka v této rundě?
Pro nás špatné, my jsme seděli na to nejdelší, chtěl jsem tam zatáhnout a posunout se ještě dopředu, protože nám tady jde o hodně a potřebovali jsme být čtvrtí absolutně dneska. Bohužel jsem udělal defekt, takže jsme ztratili hodně času a už pro nás ten závod skončil.
We wanted to fight to be in top 4, so he wanted to push on the longest stage, but he made a puncture and lost a lot of time, so game is over.
Did they have to change the tire on the stage, or they could wait until after the stage?
Měnil si to kolo na RZ nebo až za cílem?
Na RZ, protože to bylo 4 km po startu, tím pádem bychom 30 km na tom neujeli.
It was 4Ks after start, so he must change in the stage because there were 30 kilometers to the finish.
And what is the feeling so far about this rally? Because he had some problems yesterday and now today a puncture.
Jaký je celkový pocit této soutěže? Včera jsme měli nějaké problémy, teďka defekt.
Tak je to extrémně náročná soutěž, mi se ty RZty strašně líbí, je to těžké, bojovali jsme, včera jsme to zvládli, dneska i tím defektem samozřejmě auto se budeme snažit dotáhnout do cíle, je to krásná, těžká soutěž, mi se jako soutěže líbí.
It is very difficult rally, he enjoyed it, despite yesterday he had some problems and today puncture, but he likes it a lot.
And he wants to be top 4, but now Peter Chun is in 4th position. Is it possible to catch him in one more stage?
Chtěl si být náš do 4. místa, 4. teďka co jen, myslíš si, že ještě šance se tam nějak dotáhnout?
Určitě ne, myslím si, že ne.
There is no chance on the one stage.
And it's a good decision that they decide to cancel the last one?
Myslíš si, že je dobré rozhodnutí, že zrušili poslední RZ-tu?
Tak jestli to je neprůjezdné a to, co jsme viděli ráno, tak určitě ano, protože si myslím, že dvoukolky byly bez šance a my jsme tam měli obrovské problémy, navíc nikdo neví, jak to tam vypadá, takže určitě je to dobře.
There were very difficult conditions also in the morning and nobody knows how it is look like now, so he think it's a good decision.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the weather stops play. Not yet. We've still got one more stage to go, though. That's a little bit at lower altitude, so it won't be so much of a problem from the wind and the snow. That it isn't just actually the snow that's a problem. You can see the camera being buffeted about there as well. It's very, very windy here in the Alps at the moment. The rain and the wind and the mist and everything swirling around. This is Sebastian Caron doing very, very well up until this afternoon, unfortunately. He was up there in the top 3, in touch with a podium position, only about 27 seconds away from the lead. But then, unfortunately, he had a problem in the most recent stage and he's dropped all the way out of the top 5. I'm just having a quick look down to see where he's gone. No, I beg your pardon, he's dropped down to number 5 spot. Peter Schoen has overtaken him. Peter Schoen's only got about 9 seconds lead on him, but I'm guessing, as everybody's been saying, they've been having problems with punctures and stones and everything else as well. And Sebastian Caron, his dream weekend, still not that bad, to be honest with you. He was up there in the top 3. Now he's dropped down to 5th spot, but he's 5 minutes out of the lead. And the mechanics going to be doing their magic, getting the car turned round and ready for what is about to become the last stage of the weekend. You can see the onboard shot from Sebastian as well. That is just some unbelievably brave driving. It's really tough driving on snow as it is and in fog, but both of them together, goodness knows what it's like. But Stevie has Sebastian in the service area.
Sébastien, tu as perdu pas mal de minutes. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
On a crevé après 1 kilomètre de la longue spéciale des 40 kills, alors on a dû changer la roue et on a perdu environ 5 minutes, quoi.
Sebastian had a puncture and the long stage after about 1 kilometer, so they had to stop and change the wheel and they lost about 5 minutes. Et maintenant, le podium c'est foutu.
Maintenant le podium est un peu loin, donc on a 5 minutes 7 je crois de retard sur le premier, donc voilà quoi. On a loupé la course, la bataille au podium, mais bon, c'est pas grave.
It's not so bad, but they missed the race for the podium because they are now about 5 minutes behind. Et maintenant, encore une spéciale à faire. Comment ça va être la spéciale?
Bah, je pense qu'il faut pas se déconcentrer. On va rouler, on va attaquer, et puis voilà quoi. On verra ce qui se passe à l'arrivée quoi.
He will keep attacking the stage, but he has to be cautious because it's the last one and it's important to be in the finish. Et ici, ce matin, il y avait du brouillard. Ici, maintenant aussi un peu. Comment est-ce que vous faites dans la note?
Il y avait un petit peu de brouillard en haut sur celle d'école justement, mais ça allait encore celui-là. Il n'était pas trop épais, donc on a pu s'en sortir dans celle d'école.
Et vous avez un système spécial pour rouler dans le brouillard avec les notes?
Ouais, on essaye de mettre des mètres et puis on a quelques repères à droite, à gauche. On sait qu'il y a souvent le brouillard dans celle d'école.
When they have to drive in the fog, they try to use a lot of points that they can recognize and also use some meters so that they know when the corners are coming. Thank you and good luck.
Well, as I was saying, survival of the fittest. Another man with a puncture and another problem as well. But Sebastian Caron still having a really, really good weekend. Still getting quite a bit of congratulations. Coming into view now, Laurent Riche. Now, up until, let me just have a quick look back at my notes. Laurent Riche earlier on was only 1.7 seconds off of the lead before they left for the last couple of stages, which were Le Col and Brisson as well. But the great news for Laurent Riche is he's managed to pull it out and get in the lead. 38 seconds is now his advantage over Nicholas Outhouse with only one stage to go. And again, some of those fabulous onboard shots. You can only imagine what it must be like sitting in the car trying to drive. You know how bad it is trying to drive in normal snow at home when it's nice and flat. Imagine what it's like on proper mountain roads, and the gradients are really, really steep as well. This was up in Verbier earlier today. I drove up there yesterday, and I've been to a lot of ski resorts and couldn't believe just how steep it was everywhere. But Laurent Riche now retakes the lead in the rally. He won here last year, and he's on course to do the same thing again, but there's still one stage to go. He's not over the finish line yet, both physically and metaphorically. I think Stevie's just catching up with him now, so hopefully we'll get a few thoughts from him on how today has gone and how the last couple of stages went as well. That 38-kilometre stage for Le Col is one of the toughest in the weekend. Here he is with Stevie.
Laurent, aujourd'hui ça va beaucoup mieux qu'hier.
Ouais, beaucoup mieux, en tout cas que la dernière spéciale de hier, ouais. C'est vrai que bon, on a donné notre élément aussi, j'aime bien quand c'est sale, quand ça glisse, donc c'est vrai qu'on est pas mal. Après, on s'est fait quand même quelques grosses chaleurs aujourd'hui.
Laurent is really driving good in these conditions. He likes these conditions, so it's better than the last stage of yesterday anyhow. Et vous avez une petite marge déjà, ça va être assez?
Ouais, une petite marge, oui. Bah maintenant, dans Bruson, on a déjà commencé d'assurer un petit peu. Là, il reste une spéciale, 25 km. Il ne faut pas faire de bêtises, ne pas crever si possible. Et puis on devrait être du bon côté.
He took a small lead already and he tried to control the race already in the last stage. And now there is one more stage to go of 25 kilometers, so that it's important not to have any more punctures and to arrive in the finish. Donc ça va être cool, la dernière spéciale, pas prendre trop de risques.
Non, exactement. On peut se permettre avec 38 secondes d'avance de rouler fort, mais d'assurer dans les parties délicates. C'est ce qu'on va faire, rouler bien en ligne dans la terre pour pas crever, et puis ça devrait le faire.
He will drive fast, but he will be very cautious not to have any punctures or anything. Et la voiture, elle marche toujours bien.
Ouais, ben c'est vraiment super. On a vraiment une bonne auto, un bon team derrière qui a trouvé les bons setups pour ces conditions un peu particulières. Donc ouais, super positif de ce côté-là aussi.
The car is absolutely perfect. Also the team is doing a very good job, so he is very satisfied. Et encore une spéciale et tu fais le double ici.
Ouais, j'espère. Touchons du bois.
He hopes to do the double because he also won here last year and he keeps his fingers crossed. Good luck.
Merci.
Well, the win here last year made him Swiss Rally Champion for 2011. It's not going to do the same this year, unfortunately. Nicholas Outhouse has already wrapped that up, and that's the man he's in the lead from by 38 seconds. This is Nicholas. He was leading when they left the service area again earlier on after stage 12. He did have a puncture, though, but that was on that stage, and he still managed to stay in the lead. So some great driving and local knowledge from Nicholas. Really making for a good effort once again. And these steep Maton climbs, I'd just love to know what the gradients are, because, and look at the drop on the left-hand side again from that. Even though there's no snow on it, it's still raining, and it's turning to snow right in this shot. That is, yeah, pardon my English, that's mental. That's just unbelievable driving and skill and bravery and everything else as well. So Nicholas Outhouse, 38 seconds adrift from the lead. I do believe has been caught up by Stevie out here in the service area. The car's just being worked on at the moment. And Nicholas is getting set, ready to talk to Stevie. So here we go then, Nicholas and Stevie.
Nicolas, tu as perdu un peu de temps dans la dernière boucle. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
On a fait un choix de pneus un peu osé et puis c'était le mauvais choix, quoi. Donc dans la longue de 40 km, j'avais vu dans la spéciale des ruinettes que les pneus neige étaient bien par rapport aux pneus arrière où on était en mixte, et j'ai essayé de mettre des pneus neige, mais c'était vraiment pas le bon choix, et dans les 40 km on a reçu beaucoup, quoi.
There is now a pretty big gap between him and Laurent Rush because he took a wrong tire choice. He went for snow tires because he thought that would be the right one. But in the end, it didn't work out so good. Et tu peux faire encore quelque chose dans la dernière?
Non, je ne pense pas qu'avec Laurent, comme on voit les temps qu'il a fait l'année passée dans le col des Planches, ça va être très difficile de lui reprendre 40 secondes. Mais il faut aussi faire attention à Florian Gounon qui est derrière nous. Donc il faut qu'on attaque et puis on verra ce qui se passe dans la dernière spéciale.
He will attack in the last stage and then see what happens, because Rush is very fast in the last stage. He proved that also last year. Et en général, tu es content de la course jusqu'au présent?
Oui, c'est très bien allé. On est parti un petit peu trop gentiment au début du rallye et on a fait des très bons temps à la fin de hier et aujourd'hui. Donc je suis super satisfait de moi. C'est dommage, la cerise sur le gâteau, ça serait été la victoire. Mais bon, ma foi, c'est comme ça.
Obviously he wanted to win, but he started a bit too cautious, too slowly. But yesterday and today he did some very good times and some very good stages, so he's very happy. Thank you.
He can still console himself with being Swiss Rally Champion for 2012, can Nicholas Outhouse, but obviously wanted to do that little bit better today. Next car interview, Urs Hunziker. Our Urs at the moment is number 7 out on there on the road. He's the highest placed Group N car, so he's leading that classification, and he's also doing pretty well in the overall standings as well. There's a number of the drivers with the Super 2000s dropping down the list. A bit of consistent driving and a bit of experience from Urs making all the difference. Now, Urs was 4th overall in the rally last year, so he does have a history of doing pretty well. And he's driven it in about 15 rallies so far this year, so he does have a lot of experience. And Stevie is with Urs in the service area.
Wie war die lange Prüfung?
Die lange Prüfung war wie gewohnt super zum Fahren. Der Schotteranteil war perfekt, nicht zu rutschig, und der Asphalt war viel Laub, etwas rutschig, aber super.
It was a very nice stage, the long one. He did very good in the gravel section and also the tarmac section was pretty good. Und ist das möglich, die Super 2000 zu folgen mit einem Gruppe N?
Es kommt auf die Prüfung drauf an. Freitag, erste Sektion, sehr technische Prüfungen, waren wir so Top 6, 7 Zeiten gefahren. Sobald es dann schneller wird, geht es nicht mehr, da sind wir einfach zu schwer. Le Gol, das ist so knapp möglich, wenn bei mir alles läuft gut und bei den anderen nicht unbedingt, dann ist es möglich, aber ganz nach vorne reicht es nicht. Ich denke, das ist Maximum mit Gruppe N, viel mehr geht da nicht. Ja.
It's almost impossible with the Group N car to be following the Super 2000 cars because the car is a bit heavier. In certain stages it's possible to follow some of the Super 2000s, but it's impossible to fight with the first ones. Thank you and good luck on the last stage.
Thank you.
So everybody, by the sound of it, taking a big deep breath. Bit of extra weight on the wheels there as well. They should clean that off too. Coming up is Col de Planche, just over the valley from Martigny. That's a fairly long stage to be doing as well. So the last car I think we're going to be seeing in today's show, Rudi Schmedlin. Rudi, I think he's in the top 10 as well. Indeed he is. He's number 9 at the moment, but not anywhere close to Urs Hunziker. About 3 minutes adrift from his fellow Swiss driver with a Group N car. But still a really good job to be in the top 10 amongst international company, amongst a lot more powerful and quicker four-wheel drive cars as well. But local experience really does count for a lot when it comes to this rally, especially when the conditions turn and when it's not easy to see where you're going. So, Stevie has Rudi Schmedlin in the service area.
Rudi, wie war es heute Morgen in den Schnee?
Also es war für uns das Auto, also ich sage es von mir aus, nicht fahrbar. Weil wir sind zweimal neben der Strecke gewesen, mussten wir mit dem Rettungsgang wieder auf die Strecke zurückfahren und es war schon sehr kriminell zu fahren.
It was very fun to drive in the snow, but he didn't drive for 2 months, so it was not easy. Und die lange Prüfung, es war gut mit den Gruppen, kein Problem mit der Bremse?
Kein Problem, rein gar nichts. Und wir haben Winterpneus drauf gehabt, Racing-Winterpneus, und das war die richtige Wahl.
He chose for winter tires and it was the right choice and no problem with the brakes. Und noch eine Prüfung zu fahren, können Sie vielleicht noch den Group N gewinnen?
Nein, das ist aus weiter Ferne, aber wir wollen mal hier, ich habe ja vorher ausgerechnet, wir sind 8-mal hier gestartet und fast 2-mal in das Ziel gekommen. Und jetzt heute wollen wir mal wieder ins Ziel kommen. Und der zweite Platz ist auch gut, Gruppe N.
The most important for Rudi is to be in the finish because he started 8 times and he just finished 2 times. So the most important is to be in the finish. Thank you.
Thank you.
That shows just how tough this rally is. 8 times starting, only the second time he'd ever finish it, which is quite an impressive record. So Recapping, Laurent Riche goes into the final stage with a lead of 38 seconds over Nicolas Hautels. Florian Gonon still in touch, 51 seconds off. Peter Schön, 4th place, probably about as high as he can go. And Sébastien Caron in 5th after being up there on the podium spots. Please join us later on for the last show here from Valais at 16:45. See you then.